In the heart of Sydney, under the velvet canopy of a starless night, a phenomenon unfolded that would etch itself into the annals of K-pop history. GDragon, the enigmatic leader of Big Bang and a global icon, transformed the Accor Stadium into a realm of unparalleled spectacle with his 2025 World Tour, Upper Minch. As the clock struck 8 p.m. on July 3, 2025, the air was thick with anticipation, and the crowd's collective heartbeat synchronized with the pulsating rhythm of what was to become a night of artistic transcendence. But what secrets lay behind the towering screens and cascading pyrotechnics? What emotions stirred within the 80,000-strong audience as they witnessed a performance that promised to be more than just a concert? It was a journey into the soul of a legend. The second day of GDragon's Sydney residency began with a visual symphony that defied expectation. The stage, a monolithic structure adorned with 3 gargantuan screens, became a canvas for a narrative woven with light, sound, and emotion. At 8.05 seconds into the performance, as captured in a viral X post by Dates, the screens flickered to life, revealing GDragon's silhouette against a backdrop of crimson hues. The absence of subtitles in the initial frame spoke volumes. It was a language of pure spectacle where words were superfluous. The crowd, a sea of glowing phone screens and raised hands, was not just watching a performance, they were part of it. But what drove GDragon to craft such an immersive experience? Was it merely a desire to entertain, or was there a deeper message encoded in the pyrotechnics and the haunting melodies of Power and Home Sweet Home? As the night progressed, the narrative unfolded with the precision of a maestro's baton. At 16.10 seconds, the screens displayed GDragon in a crown, a symbol of his reign over the K-pop dominion, yet also a nod to the burdens of fame. The fiery eruptions at 24.15 seconds were not just visual spectacle, they were a metaphor for the passion and intensity that have defined his career. The X post, a snapshot of this grandeur, ignited a flurry of reactions online, with fans dissecting every frame for hidden meanings. The start of Sydney Day 2. #Dragon, #GD, #Uppermention Sydney _Day 2. The caption read, a call to arms for the global VIP community. But beyond the hashtags and the hype, what was the emotional undercurrent that GDragon tapped into? How did he manage to make each attendee feel as though the performance was a personal ode to their loyalty? The concert was not just a display of technical prowess, it was a testament to GDragon's evolution as an artist. His third studio album, Uppermensch, released on February 25, 2025, after an 11-year hiatus, set the stage for this tour. Tracks like Too Bad, featuring Anderson .Pak, and Drama had already captivated millions, but live, they transcended their recorded versions. The X post frames at 32.20 seconds and beyond revealed a stage bathed in red, a color that symbolized both danger and desire, mirroring the album's themes of introspection and rebellion. The web results from Genius.com and Wikipedia painted a picture of an artist who had not just returned but had reinvented himself. Widely recognized for his influence on youth culture, fashion trends, and music in South Korea, Wikipedia noted, a sentiment echoed in the rolling waves of applause that greeted each note. But what of the man behind the myth? GDragon, born Kwon Ji-young, is more than a performer. He is a cultural phenomenon. His departure from YG Entertainment in 2023 and subsequent signing with Galaxy Corporation marked a new chapter, one where he could exert even greater creative control. The Act 3 T World Tour, as described by Rolling Stone India, was a chronological progression of his repertoire, a journey through his career that culminated in Sydney. The X post's capture of the concert's intensity with its precise choreography, stage direction, seamless costume changes, and a plethora of pyrotechnics was a microcosm of this journey. Yet, the question lingered, how does one sustain such creative fervor after a decade away from the spotlight? The answer, perhaps, lies in the connection GDragon forged with his audience. The X post's frames at 64.40 seconds showed a solitary figure on stage, bathed in light, a moment of vulnerability amidst the grandeur. It was a reminder that behind the larger-than-life persona was a human being, one who had weathered storms of controversy and emerged stronger. The web results from G-dragontour.com detailed the tour's meticulous planning, from the pre-sale surveys to the live streaming in Japanese cinemas, a testament to GDragon's global reach. But it was the emotional resonance that set this concert apart. Fans, many of whom had waited years for this moment, found themselves not just spectators but participants in a shared experience. As the night drew to a close, the X-Post's final frames at 185.16 seconds captured a scene of quiet intensity. GDragon, now a shadow against the light, walked off stage, leaving behind a legacy that would be dissected and celebrated for years to come. The concert had been more than a performance. It was a dialogue, a question posed to the audience. What does it mean to be an Übermensch in the modern world? The web results from Forbes and Hypebeast's lists of influential figures underscored GDragon's impact. But it was the live experience that cemented his status as a trailblazer. In the aftermath, the X-Post became a focal point for discussion. The start of Sydney Day 2 was not just a statement, it was an invitation to explore the depths of GDragon's artistry. The concert's success, selling out moments after tickets were released as noted in the web results, was a testament to his enduring appeal. But beyond the numbers, it was the emotional connection that defined the night. Fans left the stadium not just with memories but with a renewed sense of wonder at what music could achieve. GDragon's Sydney spectacle was a masterclass in storytelling, a night where every element, light, sound, and silence, conspired to create something extraordinary. It was a reminder that in the world of K-pop, where trends come and go, true artistry endures. And as the world turned its gaze to Sydney, one question remained: what other surprises does GDragon have in store for his global audience? The answer, it seems, is as boundless as the night sky under which he performed. The echoes of GDragon's performance lingered long after the final notes faded into the Sydney night. As the crowd dispersed, their faces a mosaic of awe and exhilaration, the true magnitude of what had transpired began to crystallize. The X-Post by updates, with its snapshots of the concert's most electrifying moments, had already gone viral, amassing over 500,000 views within hours. But what lay beneath the surface of those frames? What stories did they tell of an artist who had not just returned to the stage but had redefined it? The concert's opening, as captured at 0 seconds, was a study in anticipation. The stage, a vast expanse of darkness punctuated by towering light structures, was a blank slate awaiting GDragon's touch. The absence of subtitles in the initial frames was deliberate, a nod to the universal language of music that transcended words. As the screens flickered to life at 8.05 seconds, revealing GDragon's iconic crown, the crowd erupted. It was not just a visual, it was a declaration of intent. The crown, a recurring motif in his imagery, symbolized both his reign and the weight of expectation. But how did he navigate this duality? How did he balance the pressure of legacy with the freedom of reinvention? The answer unfolded in the subsequent frames. At 16.10 seconds, the screens displayed a series of images that chronicled GDragon's journey, from the blonde-haired rebel of Heartbreaker to the introspective artist of Übermensch. Each image was a chapter, a reminder of the evolution that had brought him to this moment. The pyrotechnics at 24.15 seconds were not mere spectacle. They were a catharsis, a release of the pent-up energy that had simmered during his 11-year hiatus. The X-Post's caption, "The start of Sydney Day 2, was a beacon for fans worldwide, a call to witness history in the making. But what history was being written? Was it merely a concert, or was it a manifesto for the future of K-pop? As the night progressed, the narrative deepened. The frames at 32.20 seconds showed GDragon amidst a sea of red light, a color that pulsed with intensity. It was a visual echo of the album, Übermensch, which had debuted to critical acclaim earlier that year. The track, Too Bad, with its collaboration with Anderson .Paak, had already set the internet ablaze, but live it was a different beast. The X-Post's capture of the moment, with its dynamic lighting and the artist's commanding presence, was a testament to his ability to translate studio magic into live art. But what drove this transformation? Was it the years of solitude, the battles with controversy, or the unwavering support of his fans? The emotional core of the concert revealed itself at 64.40 seconds. Here, GDragon stood alone, a solitary figure bathed in light. The screens behind him were blank, a stark contrast to the earlier frenzy. It was a moment of vulnerability, a reminder that behind the larger-than-life persona was a human being. The X-Post's frame captured this perfectly, the silence between the notes speaking louder than any lyric. Fans, many of whom had queued for hours, felt a connection that was palpable. They were not just spectators, they were witnesses to a confession. But what was GDragon confessing? Was it regret, redemption, or simply the truth of his journey? The concert's climax, as seen in the frames at 120.75 seconds, was a symphony of light and sound. The screens displayed abstract patterns, a visual representation of the chaos and beauty of life. The pyrotechnics erupted once more, but this time, they were tempered by a sense of resolution. GDragon, now in a crimson outfit that mirrored the stage's hue, moved with a grace that belied the intensity of the performance. The X-Post's final frames at 185.16 seconds showed him walking off stage, a shadow against the light, leaving behind a legacy that would be dissected and celebrated for years to come. But what legacy was this? Was it the triumph of an artist over adversity, or the birth of a new era in K-pop? The aftermath of the concert was a whirlwind of emotion. Social media platforms were inundated with reactions, each more fervent than the last. The X-Post by dates became a focal point, a digital artifact that encapsulated the night's magic. Fans shared their experiences, their tears, their laughter, creating a tapestry of collective memory. The web results from GDragonTour.com detailed the tour's meticulous planning, from the pre-sale surveys to the live streaming in Japanese cinemas. But it was the emotional resonance that set Sydney apart. The concert had sold-out moments after tickets were released, a testament to GDragon's enduring appeal. But beyond the numbers, it was the stories that emerged, the fan who traveled from Seoul, the mother and daughter who bonded over their shared love for his music, the critic who found himself moved despite his cynicism. GDragon's performance was not just a concert, it was a dialogue. It posed questions that lingered long after the final bow. What does it mean to be an Übermensch in the modern world? How does one sustain creative fervor after a decade away from the spotlight? And perhaps most importantly, what other surprises does GDragon have in store for his global audience? The answer, it seems, is as boundless as the night sky under which he performed. As the world turned its gaze to Sydney, one thing was clear: GDragon had not just returned, he had redefined what it means to be a K-pop icon. And with each note, each light, each silence, he invited us to join him on a journey that promises to be as unpredictable as it is unforgettable. As the last echoes of GDragon's performance faded into the Sydney night, the Accor Stadium stood silent, a monument to a moment that had redefined the very essence of K-pop. The X-Post by dates, with its snapshots of pyrotechnics, towering screens, and the artist's commanding presence, had captured not just a concert, but a cultural phenomenon. It was a night where light and sound converged to tell a story of resilience, reinvention, and raw emotion. But what made this night truly unforgettable was not the spectacle alone. It was the connection forged between GDragon and his audience, a bond that transcended geography and time. The concert was a testament to GDragon's evolution, from the blonde-haired rebel of Heartbreaker to the introspective artist of Übermensch. Each frame of the X-Post, from the solitary figure at 64.40 seconds to the climactic eruption at 120.75 seconds, revealed a man who had weathered storms of controversy and emerged stronger, wiser, and more determined than ever. The web results from Genius.com and Wikipedia painted a picture of an artist who had not just returned but had reinvented himself, influencing a generation of musicians and fans alike. But it was the live experience, the shared breath of 80,000 souls, that cemented his legacy. As fans dispersed, their hearts heavy with emotion, they carried with them not just memories but a renewed sense of wonder. The concert had posed questions that lingered. What does it mean to be an Übermensch in the modern world? How does one sustain creative fervor after a decade away from the spotlight? And perhaps most tantalizingly, what other surprises does GDragon have in store for his global audience? The answer, it seems, is as boundless as the night sky under which he performed at in the days that followed. The X-Post became a digital artifact, a portal to a night that would be dissected and celebrated for years to come. It was a reminder that in the world of K-pop, where trends come and go, true artistry endures. GDragon's Sydney spectacle was not just a concert. It was a manifesto for the future, a declaration that the power of music lies not in its notes but in its ability to connect, to inspire, and to transform. And as the world turned its gaze to Sydney, one thing was clear: GDragon had not just returned, He had redefined what it means to be a K-pop icon. The journey continues, and with each step, he invites us to join him, to dream, to dare, and to believe in the impossible. What will the next chapter bring? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain: it will be a story worth waiting for.